Okay, this is Todd. I decided to redo some of my videos because the sound quality was pretty bad. You know, wind, noise, traffic going by. Okay. Now, one of my subscribers said I shouldn't insult my subscribers, right? And I was like, how do you know I was insulting you? It's like back in the 80s when people used to say, you know, that guy was built like a gay porn star, right? We're like, how do you know what gay porn stars are built like? Anyway, this one is about Ho Chi Minh City and my experience with what I learned about the women there. I have to admit, when I first got to Asia, you know, I watched a lot of YouTube videos, but none of them really talked about their day-to-day experiences. So I didn't know really what to expect. But my biggest problem was, being in Asia, is my Western mindset. There were so many missed opportunities because of my Western mindset. Now I'm 60 years old, and some of these girls are like 18, 19, 20. And you know, from the women brainwashing us, telling us we shouldn't date or marry anything that young, I left them alone. But I realize now that some of those girls may be the best ones to marry. They're not jaded, you know, they're very excited, they want to be married, they want to have a husband, you know, they want to be wives. But anyway, let's go back to the beginning. I got a plane ticket to Vietnam. I went to Vietnam first because it saved me like $400 to $600. I wanted to come to Thailand first, but the plane ticket to Vietnam was a lot cheaper. So that's why I went to Vietnam first. And I went to Ho Chi Minh City. I spent about 21 days there. And when I first got there, the girls didn't pay me any attention. They didn't even look my way. They didn't even act curious about seeing another black guy there, right? But however, I do know from talking to some African guys that black American men are treated better than Africans. Okay, now during this video, I'm going to talk about my experiences, but I might also show some of the places like District 1, which is the tourist area, and then Ho Chi Minh City goes out, District 1, District 2, 3, 4. So as you get out farther to District 12, it becomes better and better because it becomes newer and newer. So District 1 is like the old area, and District 12 is the new area, and it's newer and a whole bunch nicer. And I went to District 7, and I'm gonna try to show District 7 in this video. Plus, I'm gonna try to show the mall, and maybe the riverfront, and a few other places too. And to give you an idea of where I was at. So like I said, I left April 4th, got to Ho Chi Minh City. None of the girls paid me any attention. And right next to my Airbnb or hotel is something called Highland Coffee. Highland Coffee is a competitor. Well, Starbucks is a competitor to Highland Coffee. There's more Highland Coffees in Ho Chi Minh City than there are Starbucks, or probably in Vietnam. So when I walked out of my hotel, on the left side is a Highland Coffee, and on my right side is an Italian restaurant. So the girls in Highland Coffee really didn't pay me any attention. And at the Italian restaurant, there was a beautiful hostess, and she was just gorgeous. And I consider her to be completely out of my league, so I left her alone. But every time I came out of my hotel, I always glanced over just to see her because she was just gorgeous, beautiful. And I have to admit, guys, the women in Asia in general, there's a ton of beautiful women in Asia, and they look a whole lot better than the ones in America. And even though the hot ones in America, we do have them, and they turned us down or rejected us, but they're like a dime a dozen here. You know, the same look. I hope, okay. But I have to move over because I hear music. So anyway, the first week, no play whatsoever, no interest. The girls didn't pay me any attention whatsoever, which is cool, you know? So one day, I decided I need to get out of the tourist area. So I find a little park on Google Maps that's in District 7. And District 7 is a nice area. It's another, I guess, expat community. I really don't know, but it's a really nice area. And I'll try to show it. And this girl there, the manager, is really cute. And I'm checking her out. Everything is cool, you know, it's typical guy stuff. Then the next day I come in, and it seemed like the other girls told her that I was checking her out, right? And I came in the second day. Now, that's the other thing I learned about Asia. You may not want to go to the same place 2 days in a row, because that can signal to some of the people working there that you might be interested in one of those girls. And that's what happened to me a lot of times. So anyway, they told her the manager, she was cute. I was high on coffee. And I sat down with my computer, opened it up, started doing some work. And then she comes up, walks by my table, stops in front of my table, pretends like she's on her phone, turns around, and then walks back behind the counter. Start working again. And I noticed the girl was telling her, yeah, he was checking you out. Yeah, I was checking you out because you're gorgeous. Of course, that's what guys do. Okay? And then she started checking me out, right? But this was during my last 2 days of being in Ho Chi Minh City. And she was very cute. Petite, but she was cute. And girls so petite is usually not my preference, but she was definitely my preference. So I left, so I didn't go back, right? Because I left and I went to the next day to not train. But at the same time, when I was at that Highland Coffee, there was another cute Vietnamese girl, and she was just almost staring me down, man. She was like in her 20, maybe 21 years old at the most. And she was very pretty. You know, the type of glasses. Yeah. Then I was walking through District 7. I did get glances and stares from other women, all right? And that was during my last 3 to 4 days before I left. Now, in the meantime, before that time period, when I was coming out of my hotel, like I was saying, Highland Coffee's on one side and Italian restaurants on the other side. And about a week before I left, the hostess, who I thought was completely out of my league, right? Maybe she was 24 at the most, I don't know, 24, maybe 25. She gave me a look like she was frustrated, like, why haven't you come up and talk to my ass? So then about 2 days later, I decided I'm gonna go up and talk to this girl, right? And just say hi or something. Then I found out she left and she probably got another job somewhere else because they had a new hostess. So I guess she was frustrated that I kept glancing her way every day, but I didn't follow up, I didn't follow through, I didn't pursue it. All right? Now, what I found out is, 2 months later, I did a video about Vietnam and the women in Vietnam. I put it in Vietnamese, because I got different channels to different languages. And the women in Vietnam and a couple in Canada and the United States who are Vietnamese commented on my video and said how great it was and how wonderful and how correct. Vietnamese women in Vietnam only date for one purpose, marriage. Not to fool around, not to, have a good time. You can't find those girls in the bars, but on whole, they for marriage. That's what they want to be. They want to be married, with wives and kids and all that stuff. And that is one of the reasons why men from Korea and China go to Vietnam for wives. In fact, so many men from Korea have gone to Vietnam to get wives that the Korean government created a special department to help the women assimilate or adjust to Korea. They know that a lot of these girls who marry these Korean men do not speak Korean. So what they did was they created a special department to help the girls, learn Korean, get them in contact with other Vietnamese women so they won't be so isolated and they won't be so lonely while their husbands are at work. All right? China, that story I'm gonna say is for when I go to Hanoi, and that girl who works at Highland Coffee. Yeah, I went to Highland Coffee because it was half the price at Starbucks. Which reminds me, they said the food in all over Asia is great and it's cheap. It's not that cheap because the portion size are a lot smaller and they give you a whole lot of rice. So you end up buying 2 just to get filled up. And I'm an American, so compared to the rest of the world, it ain't cheap, all right? And a lot of it kind of sucks. So anyway, just because you make something hot or you put sugar in it doesn't mean it's gonna make it taste better. It just makes it hot. They said it's spicy. No, spicy means hot. We got a Thai restaurant in Chicago that was voted 2 decades, 70s and 80s, the best Thai food in the world. And I know why now, because it's completely night and day. Okay, I'm gonna leave it alone. Okay, enough about the food. Which is why I'm going to Mexico. So anyway, like I said, she was gone, the hostess. I missed that opportunity. Then I decided to go walk around one Saturday night, walking down the what's that thing called? They like the restaurant zone or whatever, and there's coffee shops and stuff like that. And also the Korean girls who comment on my video said they do not hang out in coffee shops. You want to meet them? You got to meet them at coffee. I mean, they do not hang out at bars. They don't really drink. You want to meet a nice Korean girl? You have to meet them in a coffee shop on the weekends, at the park, coffee shops, restaurants. But they do not go out to the bars. They're not the bar type unless they're with their man. All right. Anyway, I'm walking down the street, and these 3 girls see me at the table at a coffee shop, and they're cute, but one of them is short, and she's just giving me the eye. And I thought about it, but I'm like, no, I can't stay in Ho Chi Minh City. And plus, she was a little bit too short, but she was cute, man, very cute. And I left that alone. Then I went up to a rooftop bar, right? And the rooftop bars in Ho Chi Minh City, there's a lot of them. On every hotel has a rooftop bar. And I got in, paid. Well, I didn't have to pay to get in because a lot of them are free. But there was no one there. I was the only customer there. Got my 7-Up, paid for it, sat, drank it, and right before I left, the waitress comes up and she was fine, man. She was nice. And she had a big smile on her face, and she just stands right almost in front of me, big ass smile on her face, and she doesn't say anything. I'm like, what does she want, right? Well, I didn't, until I got to Thailand, I did not figure out that when they do that, it means that they're interested in you, and they want you to now say something, now to make a move. They made their move by putting themselves right in front of you. Now it's up to you to make your move and carry it forward. I didn't realize that. And she was cute, man. She was really hot. I mean, the thing about Vietnam is they got hot girls all over the place. If I want to say, if I want to compare Vietnam to Thailand or the Philippines, is for Thailand and Philippines, you may have 50 hot girls in 1 square mile. Where Vietnam, it'll be 100 hot girls in 1 square mile. So I left that, bar or a sky bar, whatever. Then at the mall, when I was at the mall, I had to get some stuff. Went to, I asked 2 of the sales clerks where it was at. 2 girls looked like they were 18 or 19. And they pointed me and they said they don't know, and they told me to ask the other guy or the man. I went to him, obviously he was gay. He didn't know. And I'm walking out. They're giving me the eye, like come over here and talk to us. Like we're interested in you. I guess they thought when I came in to ask for stuff, they thought I was gay, but I'm not gay. Then, as I'm walking through the mall, this one Filipino lady, looks like she's in her early to mid 30s. She is just checking me out left and right, even take a little video or a little picture of me, right? Okay, so I'm walking out, saw this other cute ass Vietnamese girl, but she was blonde, but she was cute, man. And she had braids and the whole thing. It was going on. And she looked my way, glanced my way, glanced her way, then she glanced back, and I'm like, okay. I left it alone because back then, like I said, I'm on disability and my body was hurting. I need to get home. Plus, I was gonna leave. Then the Korean girls. You got a lot of Korean tourists, single females in Ho Chi Minh City. And the only thing you have to do is just glance their way. And you know the average Korean woman is more built up than the average Asian woman. And so are the men. The men are really, the Korean men are tall and a lot of them are muscular. At least the ones I saw on vacation. Whether it was in Thailand, the Philippines, or Vietnam, those are the Korean men. And Korean women are also more stocky, I guess, or more voluptuous. In other words, they look pretty damn good. So you just have to glance their way and they'll glance back. Well, they don't just glance back, they look back. With the look like, okay, I'm interested, come over here and talk to my ass. Right? So, then one more story about, that was about when I got my laundry done. There's a laundry service that would come and pick up your stuff and drop it off. Well, they come pick up your stuff, wash it, dry it, fold it, and drop it back off. It was only like $8. With the tip, it was $10 for them to come to my hotel, pick up my laundry, wash it, and bring it back. I'm like, I ain't doing my laundry anymore. I'm just gonna pay them to do it. And the girl who did it, first she came the first day, and she dropped off the second day, right? The next day. Now she dropped it off, I paid for it, everything was great, she gave me the receipt, and she just stood there. And she kind of had her head down, not knowing what to say or what to do. And I almost asked her what was wrong, but I just gave her the $2 tip, you know. But she just wouldn't, you know, just leave. She just kind of like stood there. So I left. And she was pretty, very pretty. The only problem was she was just a little bit too skinny for me. But other than that, I could have got over that part. Like I said, men have preferences, women have requirements. Just because we have preferences, they'll go out the window, and just like that, if a hot girl comes along or a pretty girl comes along. And she was nice, sweet, kind. So yeah, my preferences were gone right out the window, fuck that. But like I said, I didn't realize that's what that means. When they stand there, it's like dropping the handkerchief in America. When they come up, they stand in front of you or they stand right next to you, they want you to say something. They want you to not make the move. That's how Asia works. I found out that's in Thailand, the Philippines, and also in Vietnam. Okay, now, like I said, I was there for 21 days. In my last week there, or like the last 7 days, I used to go to 7-Eleven almost every other day because it's right down the street and I could get water there and cigarettes. So, but like I said, when I was at 7-Eleven, the girls didn't pay me attention until the last week. All of a sudden, they started paying me attention. They started noticing me. They started giving me glances. They started giving me looks. Walking by his Highland Coffee, the waitresses and stuff started giving me glances. They started noticing me. When I came in, they got big smiles on their faces, right? Before, they never paid me any attention. You know, other girls in the area where I'm walking down the street are now Vietnamese that I never saw before, is paying me attention and they're giving me smiles and glances too. And I'm like, what the hell? And then I left, 7 to 5 days later. The same thing happened when I was in Hanoi, and I was in Hanoi for about 2 weeks. And I think what happens is that Vietnamese women have a network, either on Facebook or Instagram or something, and they tell other Vietnamese women, fresh meat is in town. And I think that's when they start showing up and to see what it looked like, if it's any good, you know, the whole works. Because the same thing happened to me in Hanoi. So I left Ho Chi Minh City and I flew to Hanoi, and that's another story. So guys, get out your Western mindset. What I've been able to figure out is that a lot of Asian women, they prefer older looking gentlemen. Like I said, I dyed my hair, got rid of most of my gray, don't get as much attention. When my gray start coming back, I get a lot more attention. And I don't think these women really care about what you look like. And that's because, one, there is no domestic violence laws in Asia. There is no child support in Asia. There is no alimony in Asia. There's no food stamps. So when they marry your ass, plus they also realize that it takes 2 incomes to have a family. So once they get pregnant and have the child, they need your ass there. So they know that he just can't walk up and leave out of the marriage. Where a man, he can just walk up and leave. He can walk up and a woman would be stuck with the child. He can leave without any financial obligations. So she'll be stuck with the child, had to pay for herself, had to pay for her child and everything else. So for her, because of all those reasons, she knows she's gonna be with that man for a long time. So for them, one of the most important factors that they have is, one, you can support yourself, which covers almost every foreign guy, and 2, you're a nice guy. And they see a lot of these guys, foreign men, with these women, and they realize most foreign men, whether we're American, Canadian, or whoever, we're probably gonna be nice guys. Like I met this one guy from Canada who met his wife, who was about to get married, and he met her a year ago, and he met her on Tinder. Now I know what Tinder is when it comes to the other countries, but Tinder is different when it comes to Vietnam. So she's working, but she's not making enough to where she can't really support herself. And she's in her early 30s, or late 20s, I think early 30s. That's the thing about Vietnam and most of these countries, whether Vietnam, Thailand, or the Philippines, they may have jobs in the country and the government wants to say all these people are working, but most of these jobs don't really pay all that well. So that's why you always need 2 incomes in Asia. So he was flying in to marry her. His mother was flying in from Canada too, going to the marriage ceremony, and they're going to fly back to Canada. Canada immigration laws are a lot more liberal than the United States, or not as strict. He was happy as he could be. And like I said, I made that video about Vietnamese women that was like about 30 minutes long. I got about 100 comments from different Vietnamese women in Vietnam and a couple from America and Canada, and they loved that video because I said that Vietnamese women date for one purpose, that's marriage and family. And wait till I tell you about the women I met in Hanoi. So I think that's about it about Ho Chi Minh City. So if you want to get married, guys, just show up to Vietnam. But, one, get out of the tourist areas. The women in the tourist areas, they get hit on pretty regularly, which means that they might not be interested in you. 2, the women in Asia are not going to be really interested in you, the really high quality ones, not the bar girls or the freelancers, but the quality ones, the ones you want to marry. Unless they're there, unless they know you're there for the long term. Like I said, after about being in Ho Chi Minh City for about 2 weeks, they became a lot more friendlier. 2 and 3, they're the girl who have the job. At my hotel, I met a couple of guys, one from Australia, one from England, a couple from England, who came to Vietnam, found their wives by accident. They weren't even looking to get married. And all the wives that they found, they were all working. And they moved back to their home countries like Australia or England. And they married for over 10 years and no problem. So it's okay to bring your wife back to the United States or Canada if you marry a Vietnamese woman. If you marry a quality one, right? And the quality ones are the ones who have the jobs, respectable jobs. But if you marry someone who's a freelancer or bar girl, expect trouble. So these guys have been happy to marry for over 10 years, One of them said he got married in 2014. Another one said he got married like in 1998 or 1999. You know, and all of them got children and they're happy and everything is great. And they all married Vietnamese women and they're back to Vietnam to see their families, you know, their mothers and their, you know, and their fathers and their cousins and their nephews and nieces and stuff like that. So all that crap about don't bring your wife back to America, that's only because those guys are stupid. So when you say I'm insulting my subscribers, yeah, I'm not really insulting them. I'm just saying that your ass is stupid. Because in the comments that you leave indicates that, yeah, you probably rode the little yellow school bus to school. Okay, adios.